Between Avant-Garde or Columbia, what things were you doing to prepare yourself for this rule change and the first competition of the season?
Well, I did. I was actually at home a lot at Avant-Garde training over the summer, and I was working with a good group of kids. I was actually doing some coaching, which means I got to approach the sport a little bit differently, got to think a little bit more tactically. One of the things I was saying was just invent new things. Just come up with something try to do an action that you have never seen before, that you've never even conceived of before, because new things are going to work, because it's not the same sport anymore. So I was doing a lot of experimenting, changing up the footwork, going a lot shorter in the middle, trying to do maybe like just a slide instead of an advanced slide to open it up, or just much slower advance to be able to see. But I did notice there's a lot more creativity now, because not everybody's entrenched in what you're supposed to do. There's different things that you're supposed to do now.
Now, are you finding some of your other maybe teammates or competitors are also experimenting with fencing in the same way as you are?
I haven't seen that much experimenting. I came back to New York a little bit later after people had started to get the feel a little bit. So I wasn't quite sure where the experimenting was happening there. At home, definitely there, because that's what my dad and I were encouraging a lot of. But
How have you seen that translate to your fencing in either gains or just like a new style?
It gave me a certain amount of confidence, because, yeah, to me, fencing is most fun when you're doing something rather than just running forward. I think even though that probably didn't translate to the result, that definitely was something that I was happy with, the way I was able to do more actions rather than just right in the middle, which I saw happening a little bit.
And so, of course, you mentioned today. How did it play out in your fencing, or what were your objectives coming in today?
Well, the objectives were a little bit strange. I was a little bit sick coming in, and I wasn't too sure about rules. I was mostly trying to come in and get the feel of it, because it's the first turn of the year. Obviously, the goal is always to win, but it can't always turn out that way. So I didn't quite make the objective, but it was okay. I was happy with what I observed.
And what do you feel, I guess, happiest about or most satisfied about with your performance and the things that you were able to get to in your fencing?
There wasn't so much. I wasn't too much satisfied with my performance, but more with my observations. I was really coming in with kind of a notebook in my head rather than worrying too much about the fencing at this early stage in the season, and that's what I kept telling everybody. This tournament doesn't matter as much because it's still an evolving game at the moment.
So what can we expect to see from you then, and then in your next showing, as far as the things you learned today and how you might implement them into your game?
And it's going to be a little bit more attacking, probably a little bit more complex defensive actions rather than just kind of going back and seeing a little bit more setup stuff.
All right, exciting. Thank you.